Okay, hello everybody. This is Florian or Xerxiax if I'm on Twitter, that's what people tend to call me. I was asked, well, I was asked multiple times to do some screencasts or some code videos, basically to show off how as a blind programmer do blind programming, and blindly coding is a channel that actually came from that particular endeavor. Um, well, as the name would make you think, I am fully blind, so I actually have no idea if you guys can even see me, nor see my screen. I'm guessing you can, and I'm hoping you can, otherwise, this would not be very useful to many people. What I'm going to do in this little short intro video is just code up a small little application, small little console application in C#, and there's probably gonna be longer videos, like depending on the reception I get for this. So if people like it, be sure to subscribe to this channel so I can see that you guys like it, and I'll be sure to think about making new stuff, maybe some live streams where you guys can dial in and ask questions, or tell me about certain topics you want me to cover as a blind programmer. I'm definitely willing to accommodate that. So let's just see how far we get today. First, a bit of context. I tend to code, I tend to listen to my computer, and I also have Braille, but I'm not using it for this particular demonstration. The speed at which I listen to this computer is kind of like this. The quick brown frux jumps over the lazy dog is what I just typed for people who are blind and didn't actually quite follow that at that speed. So yeah, that would be pretty fast for most of you guys to follow, and that was not Chinese, and yes, I could follow every word. That's usually the first two questions I get when I show these people this. What I'm gonna do now is switch to a voice that's a bit easier to follow for you guys, and maybe a bit familiar to some of you. Made a wrong combo box. Well done, Florian. We'll set this to Microsoft's Speech API, which is also known as SAPI.
Untitled Notepad. Edit multi-line.
That's a
Blank.
bit slower. That's actually
OBS
I could
0,
not
Console App 1.
in good conscience. Wow,
No indent
it's late.
blank.
I could not in good conscience work with this speed of voice for very long. This is actually not. It's seriously taking me effort to not speed it up. But we're in a blank Visual Studio 2017 project using NVDA, without the NVDA add-on. Reason for that is I want to show you guys the vanilla experience with Visual Studio as it is right now. I don't want to, do too many bells and whistles for this. I just want to give you guys a quick overview of how I would
8 space race.
go about this. And
No indent blank.
the first thing that you hear perhaps is that I replaced right brace with the word race,
8 space lace.
and left brace would be lace, and that
No
is
indent blank.
just a syllable less to hear, and that's actually pretty important. Like, we don't need to hear anything more than is required to do our jobs, and putting very long hints on controls is actually very annoying. So don't do something like this.
Untitled Notepad.
Strings like there is like applications I open where I get things like
Phi. E. Menu. Down. Arrow. 2. Open. File menu. Press down arrow to open.
Now imagine having to hear that every time you bring up the menu bar. That gets really annoying. And I have been using computers for a while now. I know that a down arrow on the file menu would open it. That is a pretty standard pattern. Now if it was not a standard thing, there is something to be said for that. But still,
Blank.
give it its own place. There's properties for this, just to give you a bit of a heads up there. So let's actually start coding.
Console app.
I can bring up this console
8 space. No indent
program,
blank.
and it's actually very cute when I go on this line.
8 space lace.
8
No.
space lace,
8 space race.
and then 8 space race. And the
No.
space race is actually something that has nothing to do with programming, but it's still quite funny. Okay, so everyone, like every programmer, course, book, tutorial, video, what have you, starts with the obligatory Hello World program. So who am I to, break tradition? Let's do that. Console.
Console 1 of 10.
Thank you.
Text.
Dot right.
Right line 1 of
Thank
1.
you.
Text.
Bracket.
Blank. Right paren. Left paren.
Okay.
Right paren.
So this is one thing that, I would not have known if I were to be using Visual Studio for the first time. That right paren that it inserted, I know it's there because I've worked with Visual Studio a lot, but
Left paren.
you could
Right
also
paren.
just, still type it, and it wouldn't matter to Visual Studio. In Notepad++, you might actually get some interesting results when you do that. Sometimes it doesn't actually substitute what you typed for the thing it substituted, autocomplete it, so you wouldn't have, for example, something like this, which breaks. So let's not do that.
Right paren. Left paren. E.
Oh, this speed, guys.
Left
I
paren.
cannot stand this
Right
for very
paren.
long. Okay, let's go. Quote. Hello, world.
Hello. World.
Ta-da.
Ta-da.
Why ta-da? That'll become clear in a moment.
Bang. Right paren.
And yes, the exclamation point is being pronounced as bang. This is normal, this is funny, and this is, yeah.
Quote. Right paren. Quote. Bang.
Okay, so we have a quote bang.
Blank.
We have a
Right paren.
Let's add a
Blank.
semicolon at the end, otherwise our C# compiler will scream at us. There we go.
Console dot right line. Hello world. Ta-da.
Awesome.
No indent blank.
So, if we made syntax errors, there's no way for me to find out right now. I'll find out when I build. That's the generally the workflow I have to take. It's not yet possible for me to check if a line contains an error. You guys can see that I can, so there might be people commenting like, "That's an error," and there's nothing I can do about it. You guys are gonna have to wait until I build to fix that. Okay.
12. No indent blank.
Next little thing here. I think Hello World is fun, but I think I want to spice it up a little. So we're gonna add a little something to make this a bit more spunky. Okay, system.
T. System 2.
Thank
Text.
you. Dot me.
Media 2.
Thank
Text.
you.
Sound player 1.
Cool.
Text ed.
Player
Player.
equals new.
New.
I did it wrong. System. Media.
Text ed. A. Blank.
Sound. Oops.
Tab control.
I broke it.
D. Sound player 1.
Good.
Text R. Blank.
And we'll give it a value. We'll overload. We'll use the constructor. Overload a constructor to give it actually a path to load. Quote space.
Quote. Quote.
And
Right
it
paren.
neatly
Blank.
auto-completed that.
Right
I have
paren.
to check it.
Quote.
Usually this is
Quote.
where I would
Quote.
take my trusty Braille display and see if the characters were inserted. I don't have it connected right now because, well, as you can see, this is a pretty amateur setup where I'm in a hotel room sitting on a bed because there's really no other place I can sit in this place where there's decent lighting. There's no desk or anything, so yeah, this is really hodgepodge put together when I was, out of work and I wanted to do something fun.
Quote.
Quote. So yeah, we're gonna have to bear with that.
Quote.
Actually,
At.
yeah, this is already
Quote.
escaped. Good.
Quote.
Let's put in a path to a
C.
file that I downloaded. Let's
Users.
quickly
T.
add that.
Flowbridge.
Ta-da.
Ta-da. V. Quote. Right paren. Blank.
Something I've actually always found a little interesting is that it doesn't actually add the semicolon for you. I would expect, like, if it knows that the statement is done,
Space.
it would do
Blank.
that, but
Blank.
it does not, so
Blank.
okay, that's fine.
System. No indent
Okay,
blank.
so now we have a little sound player loaded that, has a path to a sound file. It doesn't actually play yet because I first have to do this.
Text.
Audio description, I just type player.play and I use tab to autocomplete.
Parallel dot equals.
Wow.
No indent blank.
Yay!
12.
Okay, so it actually did
Space.
not do what I wanted it
Parallel
to do.
dot equals.
And
Blank.
this is something that happens when you don't check your stuff.
System dot media dot sound player equals. No
So let's try that again. Play
player.
your
Text.
dot
Play 1 of 3.
play. There we
Text.
go. Much
Y.
better.
Blank.
Okay. Now it will
12
actually play the sound, but it
No
won't
indent
because at this point in the program is too short. Like, it's going to be in memory too short to actually play the sound. It's gonna disappear before it gets the chance. So what I'm gonna do is stop that by defensively adding a read line statement that's gonna make it wait for an enter key that I press. And now our project should be done.
Tab control. Output tab selected. Output. C. Users T. Forward documents Visual Studio. Blank. Blank. Blank.
Awesome. Bye. So, that's our little demo. Now, as I said,
Untype console.
I tend to work a little faster.
12
with the speeds a bit faster.
Console.
So what I'm gonna do to close off is do this program again
8 space lace
without talking
space
and
system
with the speed at the speech at the speed that I would usually use it at.
8 space lace.
Just to make sure that you guys
static void main
actually like
lace.
I did it slowly now to actually give commands and to show off where a blind person, you know, who's coding perhaps for the first time or for, you know, bringing it up might run into problems. I'm trying to reach the biggest group of people with these videos, so I'm still trying to find my audience. I'd love to hear your feedback on how I did this, and if there's like things I could improve or do better, I'd love to hear that.
No indent blank.
One thing that's definitely going to improve is the sound quality of my voice. I'm actually using a little crappy headset right now to record my voice. I have a mixer at home that actually has far better audio, so that's definitely something that's going to improve.
8 space race.
So no need to comment about that.
Selected.
I am aware that the microphone is not the greatest,
12
but
space blank.
I'll definitely get that to fixed at some point.
Selected.
Now,
backslash.
I'm going to switch my synthesizer back to what I tend to use, which is
NV speech player.
This one. Yeah, it's better. Alright, let's do this again. Okay, what you guys, like for the people who actually can follow the speed at this speed, it just said this view contains a representation of the text contained in the editor or something like that. That's been a hint that's been there, I think, for the last 10 years in Visual Studio Editor. It's a bit amusing for the first few times you hear it on a day, and then it gets a little annoying. But okay, you know, it's not the worst bug in the world. I've heard worse. So let's do this again. Right. If you're wondering about the beeps, by the way, that's the indentation level NVDA is telling me about. So that's not a time bomb about to go off. That's actually just NVDA trying to be helpful. Especially in languages like Python. Things like this are pretty important because if you don't have your proper indentation, your program will actually crash, which is usually not what you would want. But, you know, everyone has their own little goals. I am just retyping, like for the people who can't see, I'm retyping the program I just typed, but at a more manageable level where I, you know, actually get stuff done a bit quicker. This is close to my usual speed where I would, you know, do work. There we go. Console.read line and build. And I forgot to save. That still worked. Awesome. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this little foray into the blind coding community. Go away. And, you know, let me know what you guys think. If I should do more of this stuff, then by all means, sure, I'll do that. If you think I should stop right now, I'll, you know, honor that request as well. That was me, signing out.